University, right?
Not yet, but my friend in Alachua, you know about Alachua, Florida, near Gainesville.
Oh, it's near Gainesville.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard about it.
We have a big community.
Yeah.
And first he was telling me that, you know, because at first was where not only the airport is open, but where the Southwest is flying into the airport. Because I've been checking Jacksonville Airport, and the first Monday, all the flights were canceled. Yeah. So today I got on there, and a lot of flights were flying in, but not Southwest. Southwest flights were all canceled. That's the airline I'm on. So I got on the horn with them, and you know, it took a while to get through. And they said, okay, on Wednesday all our flights are resuming, because my flight is on Thursday, so that was good. Then my friend in Alachua calls up, says, well, we have no lights, and we have no Wi-Fi. And without both of those, I can't do my work, you know, because I work on the computer, I'm in touch with everybody all over the world.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I'd have to postpone, you know, fly in maybe a week later or something, because he said they were not so sure when they would be able to get the electricity on. But then an hour later he called up and said, well, the lights flickered on, so that's hopeful. And the Wi-Fi came back on, which I guess is independent, because he's got a generator, so that he can, you know.
Oh, so that's...
So it looks hopeful, yeah. So it looks like it'll be going on Thursday.
It'll be not as smooth going as you think, but it might.
What is it?
It might be smooth going or not.
Yes. Who can say? Then there's Jose. Jose's coming in, another hurricane. There's another one. Not so threatening yet, but you never know. And the hurricanes seem to have gotten worse. I mean, you know, more powerful because of climate change.
Oh, no, it's just the weather.
Anyway, it's beyond our control.
I think your greatest measure is the polar ice cap, you know.
Isn't it obvious?
Going away.
Got back to be gone away. Yeah, everything's melting. Okay.
See if anyone else comes.
We'll give them the 10-minute.
Yeah, we'll give them the grace period. Oh boy, this is about to break. Good. Well, maybe it won't break now. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Well, I'm sorry, I have to apologize to the...
I have a question before we...
Okay, what's the question?
Okay, the verse.
Of the 8th chapter?
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me ask you a question. In Ayurveda, they look at 3 causes of disease, and one is the cell causes it, and then something outside of the cell causes it, and then natural disasters.
That's it. Same thing.
Okay. So in this verse, it's got adiyatmam.
Yeah, that's the self.
And adibhauta.
Adibhuta,
Bhutan.
that's other.
Adidaivam.
That's it's the same idea.
Right. So, but you asked the question in a different way, because I've seen you ask some of the monks, and you said, "What are
The three miseries.
three miseries?"
Yeah. Because so disease is a misery.
Yeah.
So it has these three causes.
Yes.
So any this misery we have, you can trace it back to one of those things predominantly. But like I say, there's some kind of overlap there. If you contract a disease, right? So it's caused by a bacterium or a virus or something. So that's another being. That's an adibhuta. But once you have the disease, you don't think of the virus. You think, oh my stomach hurts,
Yeah.
right? So that's adhyatmic. You see what I'm saying? Ultimately, it all.
Most cancers and heart disease would be adiyatma.
Well, even there, you can trace back some cause, like they have in Houston now. They have all of the pollution in the water, so a lot of it is carcinogenic. So is it the chemical that causes it, or is it the petrochemical companies that move there? Some person, you see. So you got adibhautic, but you also have the I don't know what adibhuta. But the adhyatmic, eventually it's just your own tumor.
It's something from outside enters you in that case, because they said it's a toxic soup.
Yeah, but the point is that practically speaking, I mean, do you have a disease condition that just grows spontaneously from yourself? Is that the idea? I mean, you can usually trace everything out, even some mental, distress. You get PTSD. Well, somebody abused you, and you get PTSD the rest of your life. Is it your own mind, or is it that person? You see what I'm saying? So there's a bit of an overlap, but there's usually a predominant theme or cause that you can trace out. Okay, we have our quorum now. Thank you for coming, David Rice. I was about to adjourn the class because and I'd like to address our vast internet audience as well. There may be one or two people out there. There's many? Okay.
Not many people actually are watching.
Okay, but the thing is, in this temple room, there has to be a minimum of 2 ladies or 1 man, and then I can give the class. So now we have a minimum. And I just can't give to 1 lady.
And then
Yeah.
one lady friend of mine is actually coming, so but they're going to be late.
Yeah, but you were late too, and we almost was ready to adjourn. But she asked this question about Ayurveda, so here we are. So now let's proceed with the class without further ado.
If you want to take the night off, it's okay.
I don't want to take the night off, but I have to have a minimum. I can't give class to 1 lady. That's the rule. Okay, but now we have transcended that. And we'll proceed. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 On this 12th day of September 2017 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in chapter 8 entitled Attaining the Supreme, and we are in text 4, but I'm going to also speak a little bit about Visarga Karma Sangita from the previous verse.
Say the chapter and verse one more time.
Okay. We are in chapter 8, text 4, page 348 at the bottom. Adibhutam charo bhava purushas chadi daivatam adiyagyohamevatra dehe dehavatambara haribhutam charo bhava purushashchadhidaivatam adiyagyohamevatra dehe dehavatambara haribhutam charo bhava purushashchadhidaivatam adiyagyohamevatra dehe dehavatambara. Go ahead, David. Haribhutam charo bhava purushashchadhidaivatam adiyogyam harivatra dehe dehavatambara haribhutam charo bhava purushashchadhidaivatam adiyagyoham evatra dehe dehavatambara. Adibhutam, the physical manifestation, charaha, constantly changing, bhavaha, nature, purushaha, the universal form, including all the demigods, like the sun and moon, cha, and adidaivatam, called adidaiva, adiyagyaha, the super soul, aham, I, Krishna, eva, certainly atra, in this dehe, body, dehavatam, of the embodied, vara, O best. So Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called adibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called adidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the supersoul in the heart of every embodied being, am called adiyagya, the Lord of sacrifice. Purport. The physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time or duration, they produce some byproducts, they dwindle, and then they vanish. This physical nature is called adibhuta. It is created at a certain point and will be annihilated at a certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called adidaivata. And present in the body along with the individual soul is the super soul, a plenary representation of Lord Krishna. The super soul is called the Paramatma or Adiyagya and is situated in the heart. The word eva is particularly important in the context of this verse because by this word the Lord stresses that the Paramatma is not different from him. The super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, seated beside the individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of the soul's various types of consciousness. The super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witnesses his activities. The functions of all these different manifestations of the Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna conscious devotee engaged in transcendental service to the Lord. The gigantic universal form of the Lord, called Adidaivata, is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as the Supersoul. The neophyte is advised to contemplate the universal form of Virat Purusha, whose legs are considered the lower planets, whose eyes are considered the sun and moon, and whose head is considered the upper planetary system. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So in this verse, Krishna is completing his little definitions, really, of the items that Arjuna asked him about in the first 2 verses, which were reflected, or reflect, the final 2 verses of the previous chapter. And the subject begins with what is Brahman, what is Adhyatman, what is karma, what is Adibhuta, what is Adidaiva, what is Adiyagya, and how can one know you at the time of death. And so Arjun asks about each of those in the first two verses, and then in text 3 and 4, Krishna is answering. Krishna said the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called the Atma, or the Self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruit of activities. So I wanted to speak a little bit about that definition of karma, which is very important. Karma has different meanings in different contexts, as so many words do. Karma can just mean activity. Karma can mean activity in accordance with the Vedic scriptures. Otherwise, it's called vikarma, vicious activity that produces especially bad reactions. Or karma can just mean fruit of activity in general, and that's what Krishna is describing here. Bhuta bhavo bhavakado visaga karma sangita. Karma sangita means the definition of karma is that activity which results in another physical body. So that means it's the fruit of activities. Action pertaining to the development of material bodies of living entities is called karma, or fruit of activities. So this is when you think about it, this is a radical statement, meaning that anything we do that's fruitive, that means that we want to enjoy the results of it, that's building another body. Why? Because it increases our attachment and our involvement in this world. It keeps us in the world of duality. And those attachments, where do they reside? They reside in the mind. And that mind is not killed. When the physical body no longer functions, the subtle body continues. And all of those desires, unfulfilled desires that we've cultivated, they're a major part of which body and what kind of body we get. But there will be some kind of another physical body to continue to try to fulfill those unfulfilled desires. So the idea in Krishna consciousness is that we perform activities, but they're on the platform of naishkarmya. Naishkarmya means activity that has no physical result, because it's not fruitive. It's simply for the sake of the Lord. When we have a kirtan, and kirtan can go on for half an hour, it can go on for 3 hours outside, everybody comes back tired, we didn't perform the kirtan so we could come back and get some nice prasadam. That wasn't the motive. The only motive was to glorify Krishna. That's the payment. There's no salary. So that's a perfect example of naishkarmya. It's beyond naishkarmya. It's purely transcendental activity. And that kind of activity not only doesn't produce another physical body, but it erases all kinds of vrittis and impressions and things that were going to bring you another body. In other words, it's purifying on both levels. It doesn't produce any attachments for this world. In fact, it removes them or reduces them, weakens them. And it makes you more attached to Krishna, which is what we want. And it negates karma that you've been carrying for who knows how many births from previous lives. So in other words, it's all auspicious. That's why Lord Chaitanya says, Shreya Kaidava Chandrika Avatadanam. He has this beautiful verse at the beginning of Shikshastika, where he's saying that this congregational chanting of the holy name of God, of Krishna, is the moonlight, auspicious moonlight, that causes the white lotus of good fortune to unfurl and spread. In other words, it's all auspicious. So, but in the ordinary course of activity, there's plenty of bhuta bhavo bhavakaro. Bhuta bhavo bhavakaro means the activity that produces another body. Now, the present verse, adibhutam charo bhava, it's constantly changing. This is why this is called bhavasagara. Bhava means to change. Notice the word bhava is here. Chara, constantly changing. The nature, bhava is the word here. So the nature of adibhuta is that it's constantly changing. The word bhava means to change. And so this is an ocean of change. This word bhavasagara. And as we know, we're very familiar with the ocean here, it's constantly changing. You go out there and the waves are constantly moving. It's never still. And if you go out there, it's dangerous. Even though you may feel you're very secure in the cruise ship, it's actually a position of unsteadiness and danger. So that's why oftentimes it's called an ocean. Sometimes it's called a forest fire. That's another, more dramatically dangerous place. It's immediate danger. So that's the nature of this place. That's what adibhuta, the physical manifestation. Nothing about this world is eternal. It came into being, it stays for some time, and it goes out of being. And that's true of every unit within it. This table, you have the story of this table? I told you the story of this table. There's a miracle in that table. Yeah, the table that's holding up the charanamrita and for years, we only had the small one. And yeah, the nice little onyx one, high class, That's comes from LA. I was there when they put in all that onyx in 1975. It cost $150,000 to do the whole table. And that's a lot of money in 1975. And somehow this thing was left over or was produced. So that's where it's high class. But we had the actual charanamrita on that little table, and then you had the water on the floor with the pot. For years. It went on for years. And finally I said, this is not right, because I was visualizing some elderly Indian ladies come that want to take some charanamrita. It's crazy. I said, we got to get another table. So I was actually visualizing a table, something like that. I was thinking you'd have some marble inlaid so that because it's going to be wet, getting wet, just like we put a piece of marble on this Tulsi table, which is my idea. Because we always do watering Tulsi, the water gets on the wood, it ruins it. So I was thinking that, and I called a friend and I said, where can I find something like that? He said, well, go down to Home Depot. They have a garden, section, and they have little decorative things. Maybe you'll find. I went down there. There's old chintzy stuff that wasn't suitable. What to do. So I come back here, and I'm still thinking about it. A day or two later, this thing appears in the temple. I swear, it just appeared. Nobody bought it. You'll never find anyone who bought it. And first, because no one knew what to do with it, so they substituted and used it for Tulsi, which would make a nice Tulsi table. But we already had one. That one wasn't suitable for this, really, because it was wood and everything. So finally I said, no. And I put it like that, and as we've had that. Now, to deepen the mystery, I went up to Laguna, periodically go up there for that festival, the Gorpanim festival, and Laguna Beach Temple. You've been up there, huh? You've never been to Laguna Beach Temple? You should go. They have 5 deities. Panchatattva, yeah. It's quite. So I saw a table just like this, and I didn't. Yeah, just like this, the twin. And I didn't ask, but I knew because he does things. There's a devotee named Ajja there, who actually met Prabhupada at 26 Second Avenue. He didn't take initiation right away, but he goes way back. Very nice guy. He has a whole family of devotees there. And I knew that he, was wealthy enough to buy a couple of these, actually. And I think what happened, he must have bought it, and somehow it came down here. But I didn't want to inquire, because, it was really a miracle. So I'll leave it at that. But the idea was that, okay, this table, obviously, it was designed, there was a lot of craftsmanship went into it. But it didn't exist. Now it exists, and it'll go on. It'll probably outlive all of us. But at a certain point, it'll also come out of existence. And that's the nature of the material world. And that's true of our bodies. Prabhupada mentions these 6 changes. These are classic. We're born, right? We grow. We sustain for some time. And the byproducts are the children. Generally, that's one of the changes. Or something you produce. Like, I don't have any children, but all these books I worked on, I consider them my children. That's a product of that'll stay after I'm gone. And then gradually you dwindle, and then you go out of existence. And that's true of everything, or certainly of human beings, but everything comes into existence, stays for some time, and eventually goes out. So that's the nature of the physical nature. The embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhuta. Then the Adidaiva. Now this interesting idea of the physical, of the universal form. Now in the Bhagavatam, this Virat Rupa or Virat Purusha is said to be right there in the text. It's imaginary. You know, it's not that, you know, Krishna's eyes, you know, are literally the moon and the sun. You know, but for those who are steeped in materialism, it helps to see the divine in everything in this way. It's almost like the Gaia principle. You've heard of that? Have you ever heard of Gaia, a Gaia principle? You know, or the vision of the, you know, the Native Americans. They saw that's kind of a spirit. There's spirit there. You know, it's not just nature we can, inanimate nature that we can exploit. Right? They had a better vision. Call them primitive, but they're not. So the universal form is like that, and actually the universal form can be seen as the whole universe with the controlling gods in it. It's not inanimate. Behind everything there's a person. In the 13th chapter, Krishna explains that everything we see is a combination of matter and spirit. Now you may say, well, okay, how is this chair a combination of matter and spirit? Because it's part of the earth, and there's an earth goddess, Bhumi, you know, who's behind the earth. The water god, the sun god, the air god. They're all of these gods who are administrating the matter in this way. So in this way, our body itself is part of the universal form. Now, the demigods are all devotees. And they're happy when the earth is filled with devotees. You see? And that's why we find that in great kingdoms like Yudhishthira's kingdom or Parikshit's kingdom, even the rains were coming, you know, this irregular rain, you know, a drought. In other words, everything was regulated because the supreme controller was happy, and all of his servants, the demigods, are happy, and because they're happy with the human beings. So there's a divine behind everything. This is the divine vision. And then Krishna, at the end, who is the Adi Yagya? I am the Adi Yagya. The Yagya is a word that means sacrifice, but it also means Vishnu, meaning that our relationship with Vishnu is situated in sacrifice, especially when we're building that relationship. This comes out in the 3rd chapter, when Krishna says, Yagyartat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhana taratam karma kontaya mukta sangha samachara. That all activity should be done in the spirit of Jagya, otherwise that work that's not done in that spirit, that's done out of selfish motives, will bind you to this world. The whole thing of karma yoga is to act in such a way that your activity is naishkarmya. It's not materially motivated. It's motivated by the spirit of Jagya, it means sacrifice or activity for the sake of Vishnu or Krishna. So therefore, Krishna identifies himself as the Adi Yagya, the ultimate person to whom everything should be done in the mood of sacrifice. And Prabhupada explains that that is the super soul in the heart, who is none other than Krishna himself. Prabhupada, this is from the commentators, that's this word eva atra, that indicates, you know, that the commentators have pointed out, that indicates that Krishna is non-different from the super soul. So we'll see that as this chapter progresses, the whole point of this is part of that we need as a knowledge foundation for seriously taking up Krishna consciousness. Because when we understand these things, this is all part of what is called sambandha gyan, understanding really how things are working. You know, not that we need to spend our entire lives investigating a small portion of the material energy and become experts in, you know, some branch of physics or something. That's not necessary. Just to know that this is all that, you know, Krishna's external energy, bhumar apa nalavaya kanuna. And because we have to keep our eyes on the prize. I remember back in the 60s when we, you know, doing the civil rights, keep your eyes on the prize, you know, march on or something like that. If you don't keep your eyes on the goal, you first have to know what it is, and then you have to have faith that you can do it. And then you have to really be focused. That's the utsaha nishtayat dharyat tat tat karma bhavartana. These are like 6 principles that Rupa Goswami has given us. Enthusiasm, confidence, and patience. In the matter of what? Tat tat karma bhavartana. In matter of doing all the things that are prescribed in devotional service. Doing this and giving up this, chanting Hare Krishna, not taking any intoxicants, so many things. So part of that enthusiasm is maintained by, every day really understanding what the goal is and how that has to be our main focus, because it's the whole point of the material is to divert your attention. Maya's trick, Maya's role, thankless task, Prabhupada said, is to help you to forget Krishna. If you want to, she's ready to help you. So many distractions. They just came out with a new iPhone. A couple of them.
You can't steal it.
Huh?
You can't steal
Why not?
it. It's got facial recognition.
Oh, really? Huh?
Especially let me use it because he doesn't know it.
I gotta have it. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's an agency of Maya. You have a phone. I have a $50 phone. I can hardly hear it. It's a bit, but it works for me. And I have the cheap little. So I have no desire to get an iPhone. Although I appreciate how wonderful it is, but I'm not going to. It's not necessary. So the point is that so I use the iPad, which is an iPod Touch on steroids, right? But I've got books on there. And now the problem is, I don't want to upgrade into the latest iOS, because that'll make all of these nice little legacy apps that I've been using for years not work. See, they try to make you dissatisfied with what you have so that you'll buy the new thing. Yeah. And this will go into the landfill, and cause more toxic waste. It's demonic. It's demonic. And it's right there in the 16th chapter. To think that the goal of life, till the end, is to enjoy more and more things. Asha pasha shataya buddha, bound up with unlimited asha pasha, the ropes of hope, the ropes of aspiration for these material things. Krishna nails it. Of course, he nails everything right here. So then, this word, deha bhatam. Now this is a very illuminating phrase in the last line of the second line of the 4th verse we just read. Deha brita means bearing the burden of a body. Brita is like bhara. Bhara means big burden. So each of us as spirit souls, right? We're minute, but we have powers. And we're bearing the burden of this body. We're dragging it along. We don't really need a material body, but we've been given it as a surrogate for our spiritual body because we can use it to forget Krishna, right? And try to enjoy the senses. So here Krishna is saying, oh Arjuna, Hare Krishna, welcome. Come on in, we have room for you. But actually, if you take this book and put it on this side. Okay, thank you. So Arjuna is the best of the bearers of the body. In other words, he's a transcendentalist. He's praising him. But he's also reminding him, we're on the bottom of page 348. 348. That this is what we're all kind of, weighed down by this physical body. And eventually the physical body becomes untenable and we leave it. But if we're foolish and we haven't, done Krishna consciousness, we'll get another one again and again and again. So it's a reminder that we want to get liberation. Okay, any questions on this 4?
Essentially, the material energy is divine. It's just the discarded energy. Discarded is not welcome in spiritual world.
It's divine, but it acts in an undivine way because of our desires. But really, we can see it as divine because it's connected to Krishna. And the mission of the Krishna conscious devotee is to sublimate or sacralize even the material energy. Just like, look at this temple. It's made out of bricks and everything else. And at one point, it wasn't a temple. It was a warehouse or a movie theater or something like that. Completely mundane. But the same foundation, of course, it's been, we added the marble and everything. But because it's used to glorify Krishna, it becomes sacred. It becomes an agent of our remembrance of Krishna. I mean, the perfect example is the deity. At one point it was just, marble, but it was carved in a certain way according to the Shastra. It was installed with certain mantras. We glorified and pujaris worship. And so, that particular piece of marble is no longer acting that way. It's acting like Krishna. And we understand, yes, Krishna is there. He's acting. The sound of the holy name. And as we walk around and we just do our daily affairs, we can see things through the eyes of the Gita, and everything becomes divine. We see Krishna's hand working everywhere. We don't just see people, we see spirits moving their bodies, and we see the super soul. You can see it, So that's the idea. All right, next verse, a very key verse in the whole Bhagavad Gita. 5 and 6 is practically the whole philosophy in one spot. Andakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yak priyati samadbhavam yati nastyatra sangshayaha. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Purport. In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of his life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly, chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one be as tolerant as a tree, Tador iva sahishnuna. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, so that at the end of one's life one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. There it is. So, Madbhava, Krishna says, Bhava has different meanings. Of course, it means ecstasy, and it also means nature. So, you can see that, we all have a certain amount of time left in this body. We don't all have the same amount of time, but each of us has a certain amount of time. And at that time, the measure of our success is our use of that time to remember Krishna, to serve Krishna, to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Prabhupada would say, I've heard him speak on the tape, some people ask me, how long does it take? Because, if you enter into a process, well, how long will it take before I succeed? Well, there's no set time. It's up to us. You can become Krishna conscious in a moment, or it may take lifetimes. It depends on your sincerity and your desire, your determination, your enthusiasm, all these things. Now, one may ask, well, how do I get those things? And the usual answer, the simple answer is, you have to find people who are enthusiastic in Krishna consciousness and associate them with them. Make that your main association. Because it's really a battle for our mind. The mind is now habituated to associate on the material plane, whether in the mode of goodness or the mode of passion or the mode of ignorance, but not in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is pure, completely pure. So it's a discipline. It's a struggle. There's no question about it. But if we follow the program nicely, we soon find that we can make some advancement, and we can feel that our lives are changing because of Krishna consciousness. There's the natural joy of the soul becomes manifest. I mean, I used to be a fairly depressed person. I went through a bout of that back in the 60s. a depressing time. For me, the war in Vietnam was like a big weight, you know. I mean, I had my hippie days and everything, but that was going on, and I felt I had to do something about it, you know. And I couldn't really do anything. We met demonstration, this and that, you know, and so eventually things just became pretty dark for me, you know. But by Krishna's arrangement, by previous activities, I came in touch with the devotees, started chanting Hare Krishna, visiting the temple, and the association with, you know, at that time the temple was filled with blissful devotees, you know, everybody was a lot younger. And, and so it just, you know, as soon as I started the process, the cloud lifted and it's never come back. You know, and that's just a, you know, first installment type of thing, you know. So there's no question that it's real, but the mind is so powerful, the modes are so strong that we have to be careful and maintain our discipline and our regulation and our sadhana in Krishna consciousness. And then all for the aim, you know, serious aim. We want to remember Krishna constantly so that at the time of death we'll remember him. And there's a beautiful ashtaka within the Bhagavatam at the end called the, as soon as I read it, I called it the Krishna Katashtaka. 8 verses about hearing and chanting about Krishna. Krishna Kata means words, you know, dealing with Krishna. And so, Sutta Goswami is speaking. He's one of the speakers of Bhagavatam after Shukadeva Goswami. And this is right at the end, you know, 1 chapter before the end of the Bhagavatam. So he sums it up. And the first word in this Krishna Katashtaka is Sankirtan. Sankirtyamano Bhagavan Ananta Shudana Bhavo Vasadam Vipungsam Pravishchittam Vidunotyashesham Yatat Moko Brahmivati Vata. And what he says there is that for those who are in congregation, especially, hearing and chanting my powerful glories, well, not my powerful glories, but the glories of Bhagavan, of Krishna, then Krishna enters into the heart, pravishya chittam, into the chitta, the consciousness, and vidunotya shesham, he cleanses away without completely the anartas, the impurities, the ignorance, all of these things. Vidunotya shesham yatata moko, just as the sun coming up disperses all the darkness, or a powerful wind can blow away the fog somewhere, you know. So, but then he goes back and forth. Mrisha gadasta rasati satkata nakatyateha bhagavan arokshaja. That those words, which have nothing to do with Bhagavan, they're false and useless and harmful, you see? And we're surrounded by those words. So what you hear and what you chant, that's essential. That is the key to what our consciousness will be formed at. Especially in this age, Krishna, we contact him through the sound vibration, beginning with, as Prabhupada says, the Hare Krishna mantra. And from there, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, it's full of beautiful sound vibrations about Krishna. So those are the ones we have to choose. So in the first half of the verse, he says, on the other hand, Mishaga asati asatkata, as opposed to Krishna kata, asatkata, means mundane talks, you know. But tadeva satyam, tadohaiva mangalam, tadeva punyam, bhagavadgunodayam, tadeva ramyam, ruchiram navangavang, tadeva shaswang, manaso mahotsavam, tadeva shoka navashoshanang nanang hita, yaduttama shloka yasho yugiyate. So now he's, please. So now he's describing, on the other hand, see, one hand, the other hand. So he has the false and bad vibrations. So now he said, Tadeva Satyam, those words which glorify Bhagavan, they're true, they are auspicious, they bring piety just by hearing and chanting them. Tadeva Punyam, punyam means Bhagavan, they awaken the natural divine qualities in us that are part and parcel of Krishna's divine qualities. Bhagavad Guna, Tadeva Ramyam, very attractive, ruchidam, tasty, delightful. Navam, ever fresh. This you can't find. Mundane sound eventually gets hackneyed, you can't listen anymore. But navam. Tadeva shashrang manaso mahotsavam, they're an eternal festival for the mind. Shokan of Ashosha, that dries up all of the lamentation in the universe. That's the words of it, you know, Uttama Shloka. On the other hand, Nayad vichas chitta badang haresh. I won't give you all the Sanskrit. Those words that don't glorify Krishna, even though very nicely composed, you know, some poetry or novels, whatever it may be, you know, movies. It's like a pilgrimage for the crows. In other words, it's impure. It may look and sound very attractive, but it's contaminating your consciousness with mundane thoughts. On the other hand, tadvag visargo janadaga viplava, that those words which may not be so beautifully composed, but all they do is glorify Krishna, the great saints, they accept them, they hear them, they chant them. In other words, we shouldn't just be bewildered by the outer beauty of the presentation. And then there's another verse in there, and then the last two verses he says, anything you do, and he's speaking about, you know, even in the Vedic culture, there are so many mundane ways of worshiping the gods, going to heaven and practicing things. But ultimately, all it produces is some temporary fame or some temporary material, you know, emolument. On the other hand, those who highly respect and engage in hearing and chanting, they come to the point of remembrance of the lotus feet of Krishna. Avismati Shrita Pada Padmayo. Shrita is the name for Krishna, means he who possesses all wealth, or Lakshmi. So this is the key. Avismati means non-forgetfulness or constant remembrance. And then the last verse talks about this remembrance, because that's what we're dealing with here, remembrance. Antakale Chama Smodan Mukta Kaleva, remembering Krishna. So the last verse he says, Avismati Krishna Badada Vindayo Chinotya Buddhani Chashantanoti Sattvasya Shuddhim Padamatma Bhaktim Jnanam Cha Vijnana Viraga Yuktam. This is the benefits of remembering Krishna's lotus feet. So he begins with that. Avismati Krishna Badada. So this constant remembrance of Krishna's lotus feet, which is attainable through chanting Hare Krishna constantly. First thing is Chinotya Buddhan. It destroys everything inauspicious for you. Chinotya Buddhan Shantanoti. This word Sham is not so well known, but it's well known in compound with Shankara. The name Shankar, it's the name for Shiva. He who gives good fortune. Sham means welfare, good fortune, everything that's good. So Shantanoti expands your good fortune. This remembrance of Krishna. Sattvasya Shuddhim. It purifies your existence. Padamatma Bhaktim, and engenders devotion, pure devotion to the Supreme Soul, Krishna. Paramatma, which is dealing. And what's the quality of that bhakti? Jnanam, vijnana, viraga yuktam. Characterized by knowledge, realized knowledge, vijnana is direct perception, and vairagya, lack of attachment for anything material. Those three elements have to be there. Jnana, vijnana, and vairagya. So all of that comes from cultivation of the chanting of the holy name. So I thought I'd get that in the summary. We're kind of low on time. So we should have one more class. I'm going to have to leave on Thursday. I'll be gone for a month. Yeah, Florida of all places. I've been in contact with Jacksonville, my friend, and no lights. Now the lights flickered on. Now there's Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm not coming on. So I'll leave on Thursday, unfortunately. But before I leave, we have a couple of minutes. I'll leave you with a couple of poems. In this regard, Deha Debrata, the bearing the body. So everybody dies, nobody dies. Wake up and open your eyes. You're not dead body, you're a pure spirit soul. Chant the holy name and attain life's goal. My little ditty. Or there's a Sanskrit, Nikshra Sevi Vishra So Kadaududhi Bhavishyati Kirtaniya Mata Baulyad Hare Nama Kevalam. This is part of the Kevalashtaka, 8 verses about the holy name. Remember that our final breath may come at any time, no matter if we're old and sick or in our youthful prime. So young and old alike should chant the name incessantly. The holy name of Shri Hari is surely all that be. And one, it says you should end with something sweet. So the name of Hare Krishna, Hare is Radha. We're chanting the name of Radharani, right? We're not afraid of that name, Radha. So this is a verse by Raghunath Das Goswami. Radheti nama namasundara siddha mugdham Krishneti nama marurapa dagara dugdham Savakshanam surabhiraga himena ramyam kritvata daiva pipamei rasanechadarte. An excellent fresh nectar drink. An excellent fresh nectar drink with endless subtle tastes. Such as the name of Radha, by whom all three worlds are graced. condensed milk that is wonderfully delicious, thick and sweet. Such is the name of Krishna, in whom all attractions meet. Now mix these drinks, O thirsty tongue, and add the cooling spice of love, a prize the wise will try to buy at any price. And then at every moment drink this beverage most fine, and make my heart supremely blissful, peaceful, and divine. Hare Krishna. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Now we'll see the beautiful deities of Shri Shri Radha Giridharaji, Gauranatai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, and we'll chant Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Well, we started late, but we ended on a high note.
And everyone out there is happy.
Hare Bol. Whoever you may be.
So when 1 month this, so
When will the month be up?
no class?
When, there may be a class, but it won't be given by me. Just put a doty on, you take it.
You're giving it.
No.
We don't have enough people who give class in the morning. Play a thing.
You know how to give class.
Yeah.
Just as long as it's a loop at the end.
Slowly. Yes, Krishna. Knowledge.
Knowledge, jnana, vijnana. Utilize knowledge.
Have you ever been to SR?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I want to learn this book.
I'm trying to find out what it is.
It's Krishna oriented.
I know that.
Where, Marcy?
Only English. Yeah.
Mercy. Or something like that. Just pick up the table and move it back there, the blue thing. Don't spill the water.
Careful.
You
Glass.
spill the water, you go ahead. Don't spill the water.
Yeah.
So maybe you can help with this.
Other days, it's
Yeah, line one. No, actually, on the other side. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Welcome back to Darshan. Darshan and Kirtan.
David, you can give me the drum. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namo. Thank you, Prabhu. Krishna Preshtaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschachari Shatarine Namaste Saraswati. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Vivasari Gaur. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Radhe. Gopenanandi Hari Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivadikacharya Ashtotar Tata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai.
ISKCON DVD founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivadikacharya Ashtotar Tata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Gosi Krishna Chaitanya Bhavanityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakari Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mehi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mehi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Transcendental Distribution ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Maybe you don't need to speak the song.
Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Namaste Narasimhaya, Radha Larandayine, Hiranyakashipo Vaksha, Shilatankana Kalaye, Ito Nishinga Parato Nishingo, Yato Yato Yamitato Nishinga, Bahi Nishingo Ridhaye Nishingo, Narasimhamading Sharanang Prapaje, Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Anduta Shringam Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanum Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Tavakara Kamalavare, Tavakara Kamalavare Nakamanduta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanum Bringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Tavakara Kamalavare Kamaruta Shringam Tarita Hiranyakashipu Tanum Bringam Keshavadita Jagadisha Keshavandrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Keshavandrita Keshavandrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Keshavandrita Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Narahari, Narahari, Jaya Narahari, Jaya Narahari. Shringa Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
You should take a little more. You're extra special. You're still doing the same work right now? You're working at the same place? Oh, official.
Today we got a special new picture for the milk.
Where were you at before? Similar. I don't know many people. Was this something?
Prashada? Little on the plate. So you're from a temple? Which one? Which one? Dubai. Okay. How about one of these sweets? We have spoons.
Okay.
Just visiting? Or you come? Oh, okay. Okay, thanks for coming by. A little prasada? Share? Please, please, please. Dravida. Yeah, I've been here forever. Shweta. Sheka, Shweta,
Nice to meet you.
How do you go? How do you go? Would you like some?
For hours, you chant when you're around.
I'm sorry, all these years. Definitely.